Video, we were going over why it's important to use a grid and how we can use color blocks to look at the different information on the screen before we actually put the text in. But let's take a look at putting some text in. So what I usually like to do is I usually like to grab all of my text at once and just copy and paste it into just one text box off to the side in InDesign. Make it a little bit bigger so I can see it. And then I look at adding it to these specific areas and what type of a font I might want to use. So rule 6, I'm going to put, I was going to put it down here and I'm still toying with this idea. So I like the idea of using a really thick sans serif font and using that for my headline and anything else I really want to stand out. So I am going to look at a character style, or a paragraph style, I should say, for a headline. That's going to be based on using Futura. It's one of my favorite fonts. And I'm going to go with Futura Extra Bold. And probably 48 point type for right now. Then for my body copy, and I'm going to just start to separate these out. Make sure I have all the text. I think I'm going to use a nice serif font. So I'm going to name this body copy. And I'm going to start with looking at maybe Bedoni. And probably 20 point type for here, because this is a pretty big document. And for my avoid using too many different type sizes and weights at the same time, I think I'm going to use that as text decoration up at the top, but I want it to be legible down here. I think that that'd be a fun way to design this. So let's grab this and make it our body copy. Let's grab this and make it our headline. And I can already see that I'm going to have to do some changes. This text is going to need to be a little bit larger than I have it. So I'm going to redefine the style once I kind of get it to the size I want it to be. And I'm going to draw a new text box within this area. And I'm not set on using these colors. I'm just laying this out like this right now. And I'm going to expand this. And I'm going to make two larger on purpose. Maybe move no more to its own. Because now it's two sizes. And I'm going to move this into here. I'm going to make it caps. And I can already see where I'm going to run into a problem because the word different is really long. So I might need to edit, my grid. And these are some of the things that you're going to run into that you might not realize until you start to work with your text. So let's see. Let's try and solve this problem. And what if we did two sizes at the same size? Maybe and again, adhering to my grid. And I might need to move this around too. Or what I can do is move my area up here, my headline up here, and still have it be decorative in the back. I just might need to rethink it a little bit. Maybe it stays in this area. I like the idea of the headline right now encompassing this space within the grid. And this space within the grid. So then I can start to look at, the number 6. Maybe taking up the space down here. Moving the dots. Oops. And moving the dots over just a little bit. There we go. And what if the word rule starts to break through the 6? We can look at it that way. Be a little interesting, right? I always like this idea of how much of the letter do you need to see to understand that it is that letter form. That's one of the fun things about typography. And we can look at, again, just kind of breaking through. And I think I want that a little bit closer. And I always like to look at things with the guide off. I kind of like that. So then what my idea is creating a background that is avoiding using too many and really, really just fading that into the background to break the rule. So this is the rule I'm looking to break right here. And let's do a different layer for this. I'm going to name this layer. Oops, come on. Broken rule. And I'll lock layer 1 and just turn it off for a moment. There we go. And I kind of like the idea of using all Futura, but using too many different sizes and weights of it. And let's see if we can get some of the condensed ones. Oh, here we go. It's like, why aren't they coming up? And there we go. And I'll just add some caps in a couple of places. And then let's just really kind of get crazy with this. I also like the idea of leaving the hyphens in. Making this a little bit more difficult to read. I'm gonna bring just type up. If you open up the character panel, you can use this one right here. I'll bring and up as well. There we go. And maybe we'll make that a little bit fatter and bolder. So let's see. There we go. And let's try to do the same thing with time. Perfect. So there's our broken rule, which is crazy looking. So let's change that to something that's really gonna just kind of hang out in the background. Maybe this pink. And maybe the outside of this. Whoops, let's unlock that layer. The outside of rules is the same pink. Let's see which color that is. It is, because we got so many loaded right now. P151C. P15. So many Pantone colors. There we go. And let's add a background too. Something along the lines of that peach that we grabbed, which is the P15 down here. Pantone 15 color. So this is the lightest. What if we went to the second? Layers. Let's make another layer. Bring it to the bottom, and we'll just name this background. And there we go. And let's maybe move 6 down a bit. Maybe move this down. And let's take a look at it. And I kind of want to bring this up to about here. Make sure it's visually aligned. Computer's taking a while to catch up to what I'm doing. There we go. And I would probably look at making my font maybe a different color, but for now I think that the black is fine. I'm going to actually move the Y up, the many up into that area. And there we go. Save it, export it, be on your way.